Sloan, and I'm a writer, film producer, businessman, and I like to say that I do a lot of different things. I don't necessarily limit myself to a particular title per se, but I'm still learning. I mean, I do a lot. My background, I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in a neighborhood off of 13th and Atkinson. It's right off Capitol Drive, and my background growing up was probably, I came from a loving family, big family. For the bulk of my youth, it was I grew up around a lot of crime, so I was exposed to that at an early age, and that led me to do a lot of things. Well, the moment when I realized I had to change was when I was in prison, and I was in there thinking about my kids, just thinking about my future and where I was headed and my past, thinking about all the past mistakes that I made, all the hurt that I had inflicted on my family, my mother, and I made a conscious decision when I was in there to actually put forth the effort to change. I told myself, I said, this is not something I'm coming back to. This is the last time I'm coming here, and that was 10 years ago. When you come from the streets and you grew up in the streets the way I did, I came from it, I was a kid. You live all these years, over 20 years of being in the streets. And when you come out of that life, even though you live in a positive lifestyle, you still have this thing in the back of your head always thinking about what might happen. Like, my experiences with day-to-day life may be different than a person that's never experienced a lot of that stuff. A lot of my warning signs, a lot of, I guess, triggers and things like that. But on the positive side of things, in terms of me being able to wake up every day without worrying about, I gotta go make this hustle, I gotta go do this, and then, I'm worrying about if somebody's gonna do something to me, or worrying about whether I'm gonna be going to jail. Those are the things that, that means the most to me, because I know that, okay, I can still take care of myself. I can have a livelihood where I can be able to provide for my family, and I don't have to throw bricks at prison. I don't have to worry about, being arrested at the end of the day. You have to strive. Yeah, that's true. You have to strive, and you have to look for something greater than you see every day. And I say that because if everything that I see around me is not what I want my future to be, then I have to have the ability, and I can't be scared to dream. I can't be scared to step outside of my environment every now and then and say, you know what, let me go expose myself to something different. Let me expose my kids to something different, so we can understand that this is not our reality. This is the current reality, but this is just something that we have to overcome. So, I think that's very important that people look for things outside of their environment, and when I wrote that, that's one of the reasons why I said it, because, how many of us know people? I know people in my neighborhood that I grew up in that never even left Milwaukee. Never even, you put a blindfold around their head and take them to another side of town, they thinking they're in a whole nother city. So, you have to believe, and you have to be able to dream and visualize and put things in your mind and say, okay, listen, when you go to bed at night, for me, that was one of the things, even right now to this day, I go to bed at night, I think about what I want my future to be. And I put myself in that moment, and I try to visualize that and say, okay, this is where I'm gonna be. Speaking it into existence, seeing it before it happens. One of the police officers who arrested me, he was a dirty cop, and he was eventually sent to prison also, and for a lot of things that he was doing. He ended up getting 2 years. That's a whole nother story. But, he was one of the individuals that would tell me that, when I was sent to prison the last time, and I got out. I wasn't committing any crimes. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was, trying to go on the straight and narrow. This guy was still pulling me over, still harassing me, and that's when he was telling me, like, I don't even know why you out here. How did you even get out? You should be in there. You shouldn't even be allowed to come back out here on the streets ever. And, it's unfortunate that a person who has lived a life of crime or whatever it might have been, and you're not allowed to make another choice with your life, and you're not allowed to have a second chance, third chance, whatever it is. I mean, everybody make mistakes. So, I used that situation with him to fuel my fire and to fuel my direction, and to help me understand where I need to be. I don't ever want to be in a situation like that again where, somebody is going to be telling me what to do every day. I want to be able to control my environment. Yeah, dreams are definitely cool. I mean, it's dreams are a beautiful thing. But action is everything. I mean, we can sit up all day and talk about what we want to do, and we can sit around all day and we can envision a lot of things, but taking those steps, even if it's small steps, whatever it is. I mean, because if you're dreaming, especially if you're dreaming big, I mean, we all know it's not going to happen overnight, right? So you definitely got to take those small steps. But, I said action is the most important part, because without action, it's just a dream. It's just an idea. I mean, how many people we know that we was around, and they've been talking about something that they're going to be doing. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they've been saying this for the last 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And there's no problem with you saying this for all of these years and you actually striving towards that goal, versus you constantly sitting around and saying, this is what I'm going to do, but that's all you're doing is just talking. So when I said that, that's what I meant. I meant that, it's dreaming is a beautiful thing, but the action is what gives it legs. I'm gonna tell you, my main advice that I give to anybody that's listening to this, I would say, don't be scared, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of things that you don't know about, because a lot of stuff that I'm doing, I don't know about. A lot of stuff that I do, I just do on a whim. And, when you see and when you have an idea, think it out. And if it makes sense to you, not anybody else, to you, because we have to understand that your vision is your vision. It's not the next person's vision. So my advice is, when it makes sense to you, run with it.